Turns out it wasn't you, Bill.
No, it wasn't me. It was not me. You took a while after the game to talk to the team. Just what did you have to say to them?
I listened, talked, and there's frustration in there, but we got beat by a good team, and I don't, ultimately we don't need to ride the emotional roller coaster. We need to get a lot better. We've given up 115 or more in a lot of games here recently, and our defense has to improve dramatically if we're going to make a push to ultimately get what we want out of the next couple of months. I thought we got good looks for the most part. We just shot it poorly, but I thought they were really hard to guard. They were really purposeful, and Aldridge was just fantastic. I mean, he, we doubled him. We tried to overhelp. When we did, he found open shooters, and when we didn't, he scored. And he scored on a really good defender in Baines in one-on-one. He was just really, really good, and too much for us. Every time we made a run at him, he made it difficult.
You said you listened. What, the players have things to say, or?
Yeah. I mean, and that's not all that unusual. I mean, we have an open locker room. Guys talk, and so I wouldn't call that a meeting. That's just a normal night that may have lasted a little bit longer than my typical pregame "see you tomorrow" speech.
What specifically defensively do you guys need to work on, aside from transition, which you always say?
Yeah, I mean, John, we have to be better. We were a better defensive team in the first 2 months of the season than we played at any time in the last month. So to me, it's not about what we're doing. It's about how well we do it every single night, and that's where we have to get back to. And so, we're getting exposed by good teams tonight. Again, Aldridge was incredible. But at the end of the day, we have to be a lot better for 48 minutes defensively.
Brad, it just seems like, last night blowing the 18-point lead, tonight kind of just getting blown out. Do you kind of ask yourself how low can this get? What can you do to, how, it just seems like you guys keep taking shots to the chin, and you're staggering, and it's unsure when you guys will kind of get yourselves together.
Yeah, that's a good question, Gary. I think that ultimately, like perseverance, grit, I said this before the game, your mettle, it all shows when things are tough. And, but ultimately, that's what we all get paid for. It's not just about riding the wave of the good times and the praise and the pats on the back. It's about buckling down when things are hard, getting back up off the mat, writing your own ending, and doing everything you can to be the best you can when it's all on the line. You hope that these are all, things that we can take with us. I don't think we've given any reason to suggest that right now. But I think ultimately, we'll see how the rest of this story plays itself out.
Coach, about the interconnectedness, the difficulty shooting threes tonight, does that translate into the lack of the problem with the offensive execution as well, or?
I'd have to go back. It's a great question. I didn't think we were unbelievable execution-wise on offense. I think they do a great job defensively. Their defense in the last 12, 15 games has been outstanding. And at the same time, I thought that we did miss some open ones, But I don't want to be a team, and I've never been a part of a team that was solely reliant on whether you make shots or not. And right now, in the last month, that's our deal. We're just relying on whether we make shots, and instead of being a, buckle down, get stops, find a way to win. Nothing better than winning when you're 5 for 35 or 7 for 35 from three. That means you've figured out what's important, and you're going to play to that every night.
Yeah, because I thought the last group played more loose and free, and they were moving the ball.
Yeah, I think it's easier to play loose when you're down 20, though, too. But that's a good point. And, you know, everybody wants to see Monroe do well. Everybody wants to see, you know, Shemi and Brad and PJ and Gershon do well. And, you know, obviously hate that they got put in that circumstance. I actually thought Gershon gave us a lot of good minutes last 2 nights, which I'm excited about.
Brad, Kyrie seemed to be perhaps a step slow tonight, or just, you know, shots weren't going down. Did he lack energy? And 2, do you think you'll leave him here and you know, at home when you guys go to Cleveland?
I have no idea. I think at the end of the day, he's got a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. He feels that, and we believe in him. And you know, there's days like that. There's nights like that. He played a lot of minutes last night. If we would have been better in the 4th quarter, maybe he wouldn't have had to play a lot of minutes last night. But we didn't do every little thing that we needed to do, and as a result, that all adds up to.
Do you have any message for the Celtics fans after the 4 straight losses with the playoffs so close?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to keep working to do the best we can, and that will be ultimately our challenge. And you know, I think we're to the point now where, you know, rightfully so, we'll be doubted. Rightfully so, we've earned that, and so it's time to buckle up and respond to this tough run.
Brad, you mentioned how you guys haven't played defense like you did the first 2 months of the season.
Right.
You obviously made changes then to starting lineup. Have you ever thought about going back to the
Our
original
offense went
starting
nuts after that.
Yeah.
So, you know, so yeah, I think about that every day, Adam. But I don't know if it's the original starting lineup. I don't know if it's, you know, better rotations. I think you're always thinking about that. And inevitably, you can make a case for everything. And you can go through every game this year and make a case, you know, and look at it because of we have a lot of guys that are fairly alike. And, you know, the one thing that as we move forward we are going to need, you know, based on our matchup, to settle on the best things for each series. But I don't know that that'll be our starting lineup that we've been starting. But I'm more worried about the last 42 minutes than the first 6. So I do think that that's another factor in that.
When you talk about the defense not being as good for last month, when you talk about you know, the team being reliant on making shots or not, do you think a lot of this comes down to just effort on defense, or is it go beyond that?
I think we can. I think we can play with more substance as a team on both ends.
And Brad, just going back to, you know, not even the starting changes, but any kind of changes, tweaks right now. How, you know, with just 8 or 7 games left, obviously you guys want to get in some rest too for guys. How just, you know, tight is it right now to do anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, and we've shot ourselves in the foot all year from that standpoint, right? I mean, I think ultimately you do want to get in some rest. You do need some rest. Kyrie will need some time off. But at the end of the day, like, you know, there's a reason why every game matters and every game counts, and it's one by one, and you add them up and everything else. And one of my issues with the lineups too is some of the lineups that I'm most interested in haven't all been available. Thanks.